Alright, what's good everyone? Today we're going to be looking at percussion and how you can make great perc loops, increase placements, make everything sound more professional, more bounce in your beats, etc. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is break down a couple perc loops that I've made before. I'll try to provide examples for a lot of different BPMs and just say what is important for each. For those of you who aren't really sure, maybe I'll add time markers. Firstly, we'll start with 89. When you're working with anything lower than 90, lower than 91, we'll say, it's really gonna be old school type swing, like New York shit, yacht club stuff like this is. Unless you produce in double time, nothing's gonna be slapping with a ton of percussion. So for this, the key is really the kicks and the hi-hats. That's really what you need to focus on in beats like 89, for example. This, you'll see what I mean.
Repko.
Despite the sample being very slow, it still has swing to it and it still has a pocket for an artist. So again, it's really just kick rolls and slight little hi-hat variations that do the trick for this low of a BPM. This isn't very interesting for the tutorial's sake. I figured I'd just show the lower BPMs as well, so we'll just move on from this. We'll move on to club stuff. So from boom bap to club, I'll just break down how I made it. I'll let it play one time through and then I'll say what's important for this BPM. Club stuff, really like drizzy. I made this for Rich the Kid. Anything from 92, 93 to 100 is really where you want to be. Maybe 105. It's really just double time. So yeah, I'll let it play. Alright, so now I'll just break down how I made the actual perc loop for this beat. I guess this video will kind of serve as a blueprint for what you can do if you want to go experiment with samples or make your own samples in certain BPMs. You can come back to the video and see what I did for that, incorporate your own style, etc. So technically kicks are percussion, 808s are melodic instruments. So everything that's not a melodic instrument is technically percussion. Yeah, I'll break down. So first thing I added was a clap. I'll just run it through and add sounds and you can see what I add, and I'll go into the piano roll and all that. So you can hear how the hi-hats and clap are kind of like having a conversation with each other and swinging back and forth. That's really what I tried to do. Hi-hats are one of the most important percussion instruments, or drums, I would say, because you can do so much with them. They can fill every pocket if you want, and that's how you leave space. So I'll go through some loops and I'll find one that kind of fits the next tempo range, and I'll just cook up to it, so at least you'll see me make one on the spot. I'll sound select everything, and then at the end I'll break down what I chose, why, and I'll just cook up with it. Alright, so I have the first sounds down. So what I'll do from here is start building the loop, and I'll break it down at the end when I'm done. So let's just get into it. Alright, so again, this is just one example of literally a million different possibilities for a perk loop for this beat. You can add anything you want. One of the last things you could do is, just for another tip, whenever you have the perk loop done, mute your kick, clap, and hi-hats most of the time, because you want all of them to hit at a certain volume and pitch, and you don't really want to manipulate them that much. But one last tip for perk loops is you can bounce them. If you have FL20, you can right click pattern 1 at the top and random replace, and then you have a perk loop. So what you can do with the perk loop is just pitch it down, and that'll change a lot by itself. It doesn't sound great if you have something that can be melodic. One huge tip I can say is that you need to pitch your cowbells and any melodic type perks. Even non-melodic type perks sound good to pitch. That's like one of my pet peeves when I hear producers send me beats and their cowbells are totally out of tune, because it's kind of a bell in itself. So one more thing you could do is just add effects to it in the actual mixer. Add low pass filters, effect tricks if you have that, gross beat. Just experiment with anything you put on a melody or any other drum, put it on a perk loop and see how it sounds. It's really just to add bounce and complement the rest of the drums in the sample, so there's no rules with perks. Yeah, so that's really what I have for this beat. So last example I'll give is a beat called Eggs I did. It's just a sax. This is a good example of what 91 multiplied by 2 would be for some club stuff. Super up tempo. I'll play it and then I'll just break down how I did the percussion loop one time.
Repko.
So maybe Cardi B or someone like that, French Montana for this. So really what I did was, the kick does carry a lot of weight in this one in particular, kick an 808, but for the percussion I'll say I started with just the regular clap. Yeah, so that's basically the whole video. I just wanted to give a guideline of certain types of bounces and what you can do and manipulate, and just show you how I did it. If you want more of these, I guess I could do more percussion loops. I could also drop a kit full of percussion loops if everyone thinks that's a good idea, if you'd want that. I'd assume it saves a whole lot of time. So you can check different bounces and then you can just incorporate them in your own way. You can just copy the bounce with your own sounds, tweak shit, anything. I think that would be actually a good kit to make. Let me know in the comments if you'd want that. Other than that, follow me on IG, follow me on Twitter. It'll be at the bottom of the screen. I hope y'all enjoyed. DM me any questions you have, and check out my Nightmare drum kit on Wave Supply. Other than that, thank you for watching. I'll catch you on the next one.